lipases, nucleosidases, etc. And many more other are there. Then the mucus along with the bicarbonates from the pancreas protects the intestinal mucosa from acid as well as provide an alkaline medium for enzymatic activities. So again, mucus with along with bicarbonates protects the inner lining of the mm, alimentary canal from acid. Then submucosal glands, which are found in submucosa, the glands are found in small intestine region, that is the Brunner's gland, also help in this process. Then proteins, proteases and peptones, which are partially hydrolyzed proteins in the chyme reaching the intestine, are acted upon by the proteolytic enzymes of pancreatic juice. Means when the food reaches into the small intestine, the enzymes secreted by the pancreas are acted upon it. And then proteins, proteases and peptones by the action of trypsin, chymotrypsin, carbopeptidases gets converted into dipeptides. Then carbohydrates in the chyme are hydrolyzed by pancreatic amylase into disaccharides. Fats are broken down by lipase with the help of bile into di and monoglycerides. Nucleases by the action of enzyme nucleases in the pancreatic juice acts upon nucleic acids to form nucleotides and nucleosides. And the enzymes in the succus and trachea act on end products of reactions to form the respective simple absorbable forms. So this enzymes of succus and trachea finally converts all the end products into simplest products which can be absorbed by the blood vessels present in the villi of the small intestine. So these final steps in digestion occur very close to mucosal epithelial cells of the intestine. So these are dipeptides are converted into amino acids, maltose into glucose and glucose, lactose into glucose and galactose, sucrose into glucose and fructose, nucleotides into nucleosides and nucleosides into sugars and bases. Di and monoglycerides are converted into fatty acids and glycerol. Then the breakdown of biomacromolecules mentioned occurs in the duodenum region of the small intestine. The simple substances thus formed are absorbed in the jejunum and ileum regions of the small intestine. So absorption of the digested food takes place into the jejunum and ileum regions. Then the undigested and unabsorbed substances are passed to the large intestine. The main function of large intestine are absorption of some water, minerals and certain drugs, secretion of mucus which helps in adhering the waste part, that is the undigested particles together, and lubricating it for an easy passage. Then the undigested unabsorbed substances called feces enter into cecum of the large intestine through ileocecal valve. This is the valve which is present between the small intestine and the large intestine opening. So it prevents the backflow of fecal matter. It is temporarily stored in the rectum till defecation. So defecation means the passing out of the undigested food in the form of feces. Then the activities of gastrointestinal tract are under neural and hormonal control for proper coordination of different parts. Means all the juices etc., the movement of the wall of the intestine, this all is controlled by the nervous system. So the sight, smell and the presence of food in the oral cavity can stimulate the secretion of saliva. Means when we see, when we smell, then our nervous system initiates the salivary gland to secrete the saliva. The muscular activities of different parts of alimentary canal can also be moderated by neural mechanism, both local and through CNS. CNS means central nervous system, and local nervous system which is present into the place where the muscles are situated. So these all are controlling the movement of the alimentary canal muscles. Then hormonal control is also there. Hormonal control of the secretion of digestive juices is carried by local hormones produced by gastric and intestinal mucosa. Then absorption and digested food. Absorption is what? It is a process by which the end products of digestion pass through the intestinal mucosa into the blood or lymph. So it is carried out by passive, active or facilitated transport mechanism. Means either by passive absorption into the blood vessel or active absorption or by facilitated transport. All the digested food is absorbed into the blood vessel. So small amounts of monosaccharides like glucose, amino acids and some of the electrolytes like chloride, ions are generally absorbed by simple diffusion from intestine into the intestinal villi and then into the blood vessels. The passage of these substances into blood depends upon the concentration gradient. Means if the concentration of them inside the blood is less, they will be absorbed into the blood. However, some of the substances like fructose and some amino acids are absorbed with the help of carrier ions, that is sodium. This mechanism is called facilitated transport. Then transport of water depends upon the osmotic gradient. Active transport occurs against the concentration gradient and hence requires energy. Means the big molecules etc. or if the concentration is not concentration gradient is not present, then the substances are absorbed by using the energy of ATP. Then various nutrients like amino acids, monosaccharides, glucose, electrolytes like sodium are absorbed into the blood by this mechanism. And fatty acids and glycerol, because they are insoluble, they cannot be absorbed into the blood. So they are first incorporated into small droplets into micelles by emulsification, which moves into the intestinal mucosa. They are reformed into very small protein coated fat globules called chylomicrons and which are transported into lymph vessels into the villi. So these lymph vessels ultimately release the absorbed substances into the bloodstream. Then maximum absorption takes place in small intestine. Now the disorders of digestive system. So the inflammation of intestinal tract is the most common ailment due to bacterial or viral infection. So the infections are also caused by parasites of intestine like tapeworm, threadworm, hookworm, pinworm, etc. So one of the in disorder is jaundice. This is the in jaundice. What happens? The liver is affected. Skin and eyes turn yellow due to the deposits of bile pigments. Then vomiting, it is the ejection of stomach contents through the mouth. This reflex action is controlled by vomit center in the medulla. A feeling of nausea precedes vomiting. Diarrhea, abnormal frequency of bowel movement and increased liquidity of the fecal discharge means when the water is not absorbed by the large intestine and the fecal matter becomes more liquid, then this produces diarrhea. It reduces the absorption of food. Then constipation. In constipation, the feces are retained with the rectum as the bowel movements occur irregularly. The indigestion, in this condition, the food is not properly digested, leading to feeling of fullness. The causes of indigestion may be inadequate enzyme secretion, anxiety, food poisoning, overeating, and spicy food. So these disorders I have given in very short, and I hope everybody will make the notes of it, because if you will be trying to make the notes or you will be trying to study from the book, it is going to be very difficult for you, because the note in the book it is given in very lengthy form. So I whatever I have given in my videos, whatever video notes I have given you in the videos, that is must to write and that is must to learn. With this we have completed our chapter digestion and absorption.